All right, man, peace. It's Bronzebird here with another video. So, for those that's been checking out things that's been going on with the Biden administration, and it's much to my surprise, it actually happened during the Trump administration as well, that they are gearing up to create laws or create bills to ban the use of TikTok in the United States because breach of security reasons. Now, it's funny because when I think about a lot of the times about data being, manipulated and being used against the American people and, sort of things happening where a lot of people's information is being accessed. The funny thing about the United States is a lot of people's information is available anyway, right? And so you can really access and find out who someone is in the United States. And, it's funny to hear about this whole entire thing about security and it being land of the free, home of the brave, and, respecting people's freedoms and all this other stuff. But at the same time, they don't have respect for fellow man. But being able to access your government name, where you live, what you do, and all those different things with no problem. Easy searchable tools in the United States, but in other countries, they don't allow it. There is a level of privacy and they cannot sell your information. But back to what I'm saying, it made me think about something as much as the Russian collusions that happened in late 2010s, more specifically around the Trump administration. But now we have these problems because there's supposed to be some tension between the United States and China. And so TikTok, originally named Musically, owned by BitDance or ByteDance, however you pronounce it. This is a company that they're saying is basically, a breach of privacy, being able to use that app in order to access people's information through their phone and all those different things. I'm going to show you this article of what I'm talking about and how crazy it is that they want to ban TikTok. Why TikTok is being banned on government phones in US and beyond. Shout outs to Adero. The United States is ratcheting up national security concerns about TikTok, mandating that all federal employees delete the Chinese-owned social media app from government-issued mobile phones. Other Western governments are pursuing similar bans, citing espionage fears. Now, I understand that right here in this article, they're talking about banning on government phones, but they are making it a point to try to ban TikTok in the United States in general. So how serious is the threat? And should TikTok users who don't work for the government be worried about the app too? The answers depend somewhat on whom you ask and how concerned you are in general about technology, companies gathering and sharing personal data. Here's what to know. How are the US and the other governments blocking TikTok? The White House said Monday it is giving US federal agencies 30 days to delete TikTok from all government-issued mobile devices. Congress, the White House, US Armed Forces, and more than half of US states had already banned TikTok amid concerns that its parent company, ByteDance, would give user data, such as browsing history and location, to the Chinese government or push propaganda and misinformation on its behalf. The European Union's executive branch has temporarily banned TikTok from employee phones, and Denmark and Canada have announced efforts to block TikTok on government-issued phones. China says the bans reveal the United States' insecurities and are an abuse of state power, but they come at a time when Western technology companies, including Airbnb, Yahoo, and LinkedIn, have been leaving China or downsizing operations there because of Beijing's strict privacy law that specifies how companies can collect and store data. And now the funny thing about this is, reading this already makes me think about how it is in China, about how it's highly surveillanced, and that you could be found on any street corner in China. They could probably look at your face and find out who you are without the drop of a hat already, while you're just minding your own business, walking the streets of different places in China. What are the concerns about TikTok? Both the FBI and the Federal Communications Commissions have warned that ByteDance could share TikTok user data with China's authoritarian government. A law China implemented in 2017 requires companies to give the government any personal data relevant to the country's national security. There's no evidence that TikTok has turned over such data, but fears abound due to the vast amount of user data it collects. Concerns were heightened in December when ByteDance said it fired 4 employees who had accessed data on 2 journalists from BuzzFeed News and the Financial Times while attempting to track down the source of a leaked report about the company. TikTok spokesperson Brooke Oberwetter said the breach was an egregious misuse of the employee's authority. There is also concerns about TikTok's content and whether it harms teenagers' mental health. Researchers from the nonprofit Center of Countering Digital Hate said in a report released in December that eating disorder content on the platform has amassed 13.2 billion views. Roughly 2/3 of U.S. teens use TikTok, according to the Pew Research Center. Now, the funny thing about it is that anything that has to deal with social media during any generation has the potential to have an effect on a teenager's mental health. Just like now, TikTok was popular, 10 years ago, Instagram was popular. And then before that, it was Facebook. And then before that, it was MySpace. Just in general, already when you have social media, it does impact people in general because people will use social media as their soapbox, as a way to think that by them being on there, they get to be themselves or connect with a virtual reality outside of their own reality. So TikTok being one of those places where you think that it's going to impact teenagers' mental health, any social media you use can impact your mental health, regardless of whatever generation you're in. So, I mean, it's funny to say, oh, it's TikTok, but it could be any social media app. Who has pushed for TikTok's restrictions? In 2020, then President Donald Trump and his administration sought to force ByteDance to sell off its U.S. assets and ban TikTok from app stores. Courts blocked Trump's efforts, and President Joe Biden rescinded Trump's orders after taking office, but ordered an in-depth study of the issue. A planned sale of TikTok's U.S. assets was shelved. In Congress, concern about the app has been bipartisan. Congress passed the No TikTok on Government Devices Act in December as part of a sweeping government funding package. The legislation does allow for TikTok use in certain cases, including for national security, law enforcement, and research purposes. House Republicans are expected to move forward Tuesday with a bill that would give Biden the power to ban TikTok nationwide. The legislation proposed by Rep. Mike McCall looks to circumvent the challenges the administration would face in court if it moved forward with sanctions against the company. The bill has received pushback from civil liberties organizations. In a letter sent Monday to McCall and Representative Gregory Meeks, ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, the American Civil Liberties Union said that a nationwide TikTok ban would be unconstitutional and would likely result in banning many of the businesses and applications as well, which is true, because then it would be more sensitive to the other apps that's being used that may not be American-based and may have been developed in another country. So it's a slippery slope if you really think about it. How risky is TikTok? It depends on who you ask. U.S. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco has expressed concerns that the Chinese government could gain access to user data. I don't use TikTok, and I would not advise anyone to do so. Monica said earlier this month at the Policy Institute Chatham House in London. TikTok said in a blog post in June that it will route all data from U.S. users to servers controlled by Oracle, the Silicon Valley company it chose as its U.S. tech partner in 2020 in an effort to avoid a nationwide ban. But it is storing backups of the data in its own servers in the U.S. and Singapore. The company said it expects to delete U.S. user data from its own servers, but it did not provide a timeline as to when that would occur. but the amount of information TikTok collects might not be that different from other popular social media sites, experts say. In an analysis published in 2021, the University of Toronto's nonprofit Citizen Lab said TikTok and Facebook collect similar amounts of user data, including device identifiers that can be used to track a user or other information that can piece together a user's behavior across different platforms. It's valuable information for advertisers. If you are not comfortable with that level of data collection and sharing, you should avoid using the app, the Citizen Lab report said. Now, this is where I'm going to end off reading the article, but you can check out the article for yourself. I'll leave it in the description. But the funny thing about it is that a lot of times people don't pay attention to cookies and the fact that when you talk about certain things around your cell phone, that it does track what you're saying. And then you wonder why it's a random advertisement or there's a random video being suggested to you based on a conversation you may have not had with a friend, family, or by yourself. So I just want to show you that it is something that's going on with TikTok that I have an analysis on, that I have a theory on, in which I believe that TikTok is supposed to be dumbing down the US generation, the US people, and the people in the Western Hemisphere as composed to the company in China, where the use of TikTok is not for teenagers or preteens. Now, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And this is another article you can read on your own time just to show you exactly where I'm coming from. So right here, the app that's in China is called Douyin versus TikTok. And now to show you exactly the differences of it, this says it like this. Douyin is only accessible in mainland China, whereas TikTok is accessible across the world except China. Advanced live streaming features, group live stream, screen recording, and voice comments. Basic live streaming features, stream chat, Q&A, and lives with only one co-host. About 75% of the users are below 35 years old, making Douyin a millennial and Gen Z dominated application. About 60% users are between the ages of 16 to 24, making TikTok a Gen Z dominated platform. Now, my thing about it is that if you look at this article when you get the chance, there's something that's up with China's media versus America's media. I made a video on China a while ago where they're actually banning certain things that they don't want Chinese kids to be exposed to. Much as so, I made a video that was talking about K-pop and about how they want to, basically lax the rules on K-pop or anything that has to do with a man being emasculated. Whereas in America, we have all these random ass issues about gender and talking about, things that's related to what a lot of people will say the LGBTQ or the far left, the liberals, and all these different things. There's something that's going on where TikTok is allowing for all of the nonsense to pollute the mindsets of a lot of Gen Z kids and Gen Z adults, versus in China, got to do my research on it, but Douyin knows to market the app towards an older generation. Even though millennials are still fairly young, they know to market it to adults strictly and not teenagers. You understand? So that's just my thought process on that. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Peace.